How's it going, everyone? My name is Derknomicon, and today I have another Skyrim build for you. This is Kagrenac's Apprentice. Before I get into this build, I want to give you an idea of who Kagrenac was. Lord Kagrenac was a Dwemer chief tonal architect during the time of the First Council, the foremost arcane philosopher and magecrafter of the Dwemer. He was a pioneer in the field of mythopoeic forces and devised tools with which to harness them with the intent of transcending the limits of Dwemer mortality. Kagrenac was the primary architect working on the heart of Larkon and was responsible for creating the original brass god Enumidium. According to some theories, it may have been his use of his tools on the heart that caused the Dwemer to disappear from the face of Tamriel. So for role-playing purposes, I chose to go with the Dark Elf race because they closely resemble the Dwemer race that disappeared. Dark Elves have +5 to Blight Armor, +5 to Sneaking, +5 to Alchemy, +5 to Illusion, +10 to Destruction, and +5 to Alteration. We aren't going to be using anything else except for Alteration for this build mainly. Dark Elves also have a unique race ability which is called Ancestor's Wrath, which surrounds the character in fire for 60 seconds. Now I know you might be saying you can't play a Dwemer character, they're all gone. Well, I'm going to roleplay this character as Kagrenac had an apprentice, and then he sent the apprentice out on an errand right before they all disappeared. So he is the last living Dwemer who is seeking a way to bring back his race to Tamriel. Now with the race out of the way, let's talk about standing stones. After you leave Helgen, you will go and grab the warrior stone, that way you can level up warrior skills. And then after a while of leveling, go grab the lover stone so you can level up all of your skills at a reduced pace. And then for the in-game build, grab the Atronach stone, that way you can absorb any magic that is thrown at you. Now let's move on to factions. There are 3 factions total that you will join. Now for the civil war that's happening in Skyrim, you can either choose to side with the Stormcloaks or side with the Imperials. I chose to side with the Stormcloaks. You will also go and join the College of Winterhold because they will help you find a unique item that Kagrenac held in his hands when the Dwemer disappeared. And then also you will be joining the Companions because you're a warrior at heart and they're the closest thing to the Fighters Guild. You will opt out to get rid of the werewolf curse toward the end of the questline. Moving on to the stats, since I said before that you are basically a warrior at heart, you are basically going to be putting 50% into health, 30% into stamina, and then 20% into magicka. Because you're only going to be using one school of magic, and that's alteration. We'll be getting to that later on. Now on to the gear. For the helm, you will be wearing the Visage of Mizund, which gives you the Breath of Nashok, if I said that properly. And you will also get an increase of 60 points in the stamina. You will also be wearing a Dwarven chest, Dwarven boots, and Wraithguard, which is basically enchanted Dwarven gauntlets with Fortify one-handed and Fortify block. For the ring, I would recommend you enchant that with whatever you deem necessary. And as for the amulet, you will be wearing the Locket of St. Jib, which increases your carrying capacity by 50 points and increases your stamina by 50 points. And for the weapons, we will be using the 2 artifacts that Kagrenac used to work on the heart of Larkon. Now I know a lot of you remember Sunder being a one-handed Dwarven mace, but for this build it's going to be an extended Dwarven mace, so a 2-handed Dwarven warhammer. It's going to be enchanted with Absorb Stamina and Stamina damage. And then for your one-handed, it's going to be Keening, which you will get help from the College of Winterhold to acquire that ancient blade. And while you're wielding Keening, you will also have Spellbreaker in your other hand. And while blocking with this shield, it creates a ward that protects up against spells for up to 50 points. And since we're the last surviving Dwemer, I would recommend that you go and do the quest Unfathomable Depths, which you can acquire at level 14 in Riften from an Argonian woman at the docks. Once you have completed the Unfathomable Depths quest, you will gain the Ancient Knowledge perk. This perk gives you a 25% bonus when wearing all Dwarven armor, and your smithing increases 15% faster. Now let's go over the skills that make up this build. In the one-handed skill tree, you'll go with all 5 of Armsmen, all 3 of Bladesmen, Fighting Stance, and Savage Strike. In the two-handed skill tree, you will get all 5 of Barbarian, Champion Stance, Skull Crusher, all 3, and Devastating Blow. In the heavy armor skill tree, you will get all 5 of Juggernaut, Well Fitted, Tower of Strength, Matching Set, and Reflect Blows. In the Alteration skill tree, you will go from Novice up to Expert, grab Magic Resistance, Stability, and Atronach. In the block tree, you will get all 5 of Shield Wall, Deflect Arrows, Quick Reflexes, and Elemental Protection. In the blacksmithing skill tree, you will get Steel, Dwarven, and Arcane Blacksmith. And then lastly, in the enchanting skill tree, you will get all 5 of Enchanter, Insightful Enchanter, Corpus Enchanter, Soul Squeezer, and Extra Effect. Now, as the last remaining Dwemer on Tamriel, it's hard for you to trust outsiders. And as far as companions go, the only people per se, they're automatrons, would be the Steadfast Dwarven Sphere and the Steadfast Dwarven Spider, which can be found in the Dwarven ruin called Kagrenac, which is in Solstheim. And now the last topic we will cover really quick are the spells. The only spell tree you will be going into is Alteration, and the only 2 spells I would recommend using are Ebony Flesh and Candlelight. And that brings it into the build. I want to thank you guys for stopping by and watching the video. I encourage you to share this with friends and family, and I hope you all have a good rest of the day and happy holidays.